Hey, Ron.
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
All right, how you doing?
Hey, not bad, not bad.
Cool, man. Well, I'm here to see your solar setup at your awesome tiny house.
Yeah, sweet. Well, yeah, let's go check it out.
Let's go take a look.
All right. These
Wow.
are our panels. We got three 270-watt panels here, so it's 810 total. Got them facing, roughly southeast. And we're catching right now the kind of the evening last part of the sun that we'll get about another hour or so. But yeah, let's go check the rest of it out.
Yeah, nice.
Come on in.
All right. All right, nice place,
Yeah,
Ron.
welcome to the Wondermore. This is a tiny house me and my wife's been working on for the last 3 or 4 years. We've been living in it for about 1.5 years now. Yeah, so over here is the system that we have. So the house is wired pretty much just like a normal house is wired. So on the other side of this, we have the breaker box.
Okay.
And so the solar comes in to the charge controller right here, and it supplies, it's the computer that supplies all the solar to the batteries to charge it at the right rates and stuff to protect the batteries as long as possible.
Right.
The batteries are 200 amp hours each, and they're about 1 year or so old. Not too bad, but that's like the crux of the whole system, because that's how you store power overnight. And we only have 2 batteries, which isn't that much, but we're only powering a tiny house, so it
Right.
doesn't take too much. We have like a solid, if we get a good amount of sun every day, we can run this house 24 hours a day.
Nice.
And then over here we have this ultra capacitor, which helps out with the batteries. So it helps out mainly with the refrigerator. So when the refrigerator kicks on, it draws a lot of power, which then drains the voltage on these batteries, and it cuts the system off because the computer doesn't let it drop too low. So what the ultra capacitor does is it will absorb that kick and help relieve my regular batteries of the wattage drop. So then my batteries here, they don't drop as much, and then the refrigerator is able to run a lot longer than usual. So
Right.
it runs about 12 hours a day, and during the cool parts of the night, it cuts off so we can conserve power and have power for the rest of the evening.
Right.
This is our inverter charger. So it's 2,000 watts, and that's what supplies, that's what goes back into the breaker box and supplies the whole house, just like a normal house. So
Right.
we go into plug your outlets in, everything works just like normal.
Nice.
Yeah.
And of course, you're using LEDs everywhere.
Yep. So very low wattage, very awesome. And then we have, so the whole house itself is off grid. So that means we also don't have water hookup. So on top of the solar, we also have gravity water. So I have a tank up the hill that's set just a few feet above here, and right outside there. And when you turn the faucet on, we have some water, and uses 0 electricity to gain that water.
Nice.
And then for the winter time, we have an internal tank. So the electricity that we do have, we can use to pump and pump water through our internal tank.
Nice.
So that we can still have water in the winter time when this setup won't be as
Right.
useful.
Now, have you noticed, what are some of the challenges you've noticed being off grid?
One of the big challenges is we're in Western North Carolina, we get thunderstorms and stuff like that. So if we have all day thunderstorm, the house will last about 2 or 3 days without the refrigerator running.
Right.
So we have a good system. We have an awesome cooler. So when that happens, we transfer things to the cooler, fill it up with ice, and we're fine. We don't lose things. But then we cut the refrigerator off for a couple of days. Sun comes back out,
Yeah.
everything goes back to normal pretty much instantly. Because once the sun starts hitting those solar panels, all the energy just comes right back.
Yeah, the batteries just fill back up.
Exactly, and even if the batteries are dead, as soon as you plug something in, it's the way that the whole system is designed is it will skip over the batteries to supply directly to, so the sun will directly supply power to the refrigerator or the lights or anything running, and then it'll charge the batteries under that. So once the sun hits it, you have, you know, whatever it's producing, which usually, even though it's 810, we get a solid like 5 to 650 watts at a time.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so as long as you're using less than that, then it's straight from the sun. Anything more than that, it is trickling from the batteries too. So
excellent.
Yeah, so it works well.
Yeah, well now, what are your future plans?
So some of your future plans is we want to get some more batteries. And so we can have that a little bit more
buffer.
beefed up.
Yeah.
We want to also convert the system to a 24 volt system. Right now it's 12 volts. So we're with the 810 watt panels, we're actually maxing out our charge controller. So I can't add any more without overloading it. Once I go to 24 volts, we can almost double our solar. So then I can get like 3 more panels. And then that plus the extra batteries, and this will be a lot more fully functioning. And eventually I want to get also a more efficient off-grid refrigerator, and they make them that they pull practically, they don't pull a lot of energy, and they have like 4 inches of foam. So it insulates a lot better to where it doesn't have to use as much electricity, and with that our system would thrive a lot more.
Yeah, you really would.
Yeah. And then also moving, there's some better spots that I found out through living here for 9 months that we can put the panels in a little bit better spot too, up on the hill. Once I get some longer cords and stuff or wires, so we can move those around and kind of tweak it, and maybe some tree pruning and stuff too to kind of help that light come in a little earlier than noon.
So right now you're only running noon till sunset, right?
Yeah, noon till about 6.
About 6.
And we get a lag in the middle of that for about an hour because of another tree. But once we get it up on the hill, once noon hits, we'll have power all the way. We'll have sun all the way till about 6 o'clock.
Nice. So. Wow.
Yeah, and other than, we haven't had a whole lot of issues, but definitely the challenge, you know, it being a tiny house, and you know, me and my wife and our dog live here. We haven't had, for us, the tiny living has been amazing. The part that is the toughest part is the off-grid, but that's what really makes you thankful for everything else, because you're literally, you have to know, you know everything that's going into your house. It's not just plugging into the wall and it coming from some other source. You know, you turn on your sink, it's coming from another source. Most of the time, people's toilet uses more water than we use in a day, other than drinking water. But yeah, you flush your toilet in your house, and we've used less water than that in this house all day.
That's amazing.
And we love that aspect.
That's a very low footprint.
Very low footprint, and also because it's off grid and it's movable. Going, you know, we lived on 2 farms now, this being the second farm, and we built it at my parents' house. So it being able to move around and the 0 footprint means that it's not a huge obligation on a burden onto the owners of the land, because when I come in, my footprint, as soon as I leave, it's like I never was here. We don't have to do sewer, we don't have to tap into the grid, any of that stuff. So it's a lot easier to get onto a farm and do work trade or anything to pay your rent and stuff like that, because they're able to, it doesn't like take away from their resources really, which is really nice. So it helps you kind of like bounce around if that's what you want to do, and it's helped us a lot, because each place we're still working on our house. So at another farm, that's where we built most of this house at, and here it's definitely livable, but we have projects going on all the time. So
it just looks so much has changed since the last time I saw this house a few months ago. I mean, you've got concrete countertops, shelving, and siding. You know, it's just a work in progress, and it's a beautiful work in progress. It's just wonderful to see it taking shape. And then come over this way, Pierce. Pierce is our cameraman, and he is filming. Oh, there he is. Take a look at the whole house from this perspective. And Ron, tell us a little about it.
Yeah, so the bedroom is up here. This is kind of like our hangout area. This piece of plywood folds down, and we can, you know, we can set up like our hangout area and our couch and all that stuff. And then this right here, we have about 4 feet up here, which is plenty of room. We thought that it was going to be, you know, not enough and be crammed, and it's fine. These timbers right here, they actually extend out 2 feet, and so it cantilevers our closet. So that's where all of our clothes are, right behind that curtain up there. The ladder, which is kind of like pops down, hooks onto it and pretty sturdy and just hangs out. We're really happy with like the space and the livability of all this, and it's definitely, and we can also like, we can have people over and, you know, 5 or 6 people eating dinner in here or, you know, around here. And we've definitely had get-togethers up to like 8 people, and it's just, you know, hang out and
perfect little hangout spot.
Yeah, we have this and have outdoor space, and yeah, it definitely doesn't hinder us too much. We definitely love the minimal lifestyle.
Yeah, and it really shows how you can live with less. How we don't need as much as we think we need in our society in this part of the world, I guess I should say. You know, we think we need so much, but we really don't.
Yeah,
and when you live in a house like this, you really realize, hey, what's really important is outside.
Exactly. You know? Yeah. This takes care of your baseline needs. So you have your safety, security, you have your roof. You know, you can eat. Like, this takes care of the baselines, and then everything else is out there for you. So, if you can feel safe at home, and you know, and we don't have a mortgage, which makes me feel really safe. And you know,
no power bill, no water bill, no heat bill.
For it. And since since it's taken this long, we pay for it as we've gone. So we didn't take a loan out. So in the last 3 or 4 years, we've slowly been putting our money into this, and this has been our savings versus actually putting it into a savings, because we have this asset that we can live in, you know, while we're building another house. We have another house, we can, you know, rent it out, and
exactly.
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot of assets, especially where we are in our life and not knowing, like, you know, where everything's gonna go. It's definitely great to have this as helping out transitions and stuff, and not too much of a burden of having to, you know, close on your renting and grabbing and get another place, and like, you know, how much you're gonna pay this month, and so it definitely adds a little bit of security there for us.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's a beautiful place.
Thank you.
I see why you call it Wondermore.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
More.
And thank you for all of your time and showing us this wonderful place and sharing your adventure with solar and tiny house living.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming by, and can't wait to have you back here again and see all of our future plans and projects coming to life.
I can't wait to see it take shape.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Ron.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, let's hit the road and find another house powered by solar power. Go solar!
Go tiny!
Go green!